I call to order the meeting of the Borough of River Edge Mayor and Council, September 8th, regular meeting, 7 p.m. I ask everyone to please stand and in silent reflection, let's consider all the needs of our country as well as our town, and then we'll lead the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
States of America
and
States
to
and the Republic
for which it
for which it
stands,
stands,
one nation,
Under God, indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty
liberty
and
and
justice for all.
justice for all.
Okay, statement of compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act. This meeting complies with the Open Public Meeting Act by notification on December 20th of this location, date, and time to the Ridgewood News and the Record, and by posting of the same on the municipal bulletin board and borough website, and filing a notice of the same with the municipal clerk. Because we're virtual, it's very hard for our borough clerk to call the roll. So for the purpose of this meeting, I will be calling the roll. Okay, I just got a text message that our borough deputy clerk, Ms. O'Connell, is with us, and that's very good right now. So we have Tom Behrens, our planner. We have Tom Sarlo, our borough attorney. We have Judy O'Connell, our deputy clerk. Tonight excused is our BA with prior notice. And so let us begin. Council President Kanigo.
Here.
Councilwoman Bastide.
Here.
Councilman Kaufman.
here.
I'm sorry, Councilwoman. I'm sorry, it's Councilman. Little mistake there. I'm sorry. Councilman Gaudier.
Here.
Councilwoman Insella.
Here.
I did that wrong, Kinsella, too. I'm doing it for, sorry. And Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Here.
Great, thank you. I apologize for that. So we have up as item number 5, approval of the minutes of the mayor and council regular meeting of August 10th, 2020. Could I have the council president move that and Councilwoman Bastide second?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, this requires a roll call vote. Council President Kanigo.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bastide.
Yes.
Councilman Gaudier.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kaufman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella.
Yes.
It's been unanimously approved. We are now going to open comments on any item on the agenda and only the agenda, but I have Councilwoman Kaufman and Councilman Gaudier move and second to open to the public.
So moved.
Second.
Council President Kanigo.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bastide.
Yes.
Councilman Gaudier.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kaufman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to surrender the meeting now to Councilwoman Kaufman.
So if anyone has a question, just type your question in the chat box and we will answer it and allow you to speak if you wish, or raise your hand. I don't see any questions.
Okay, could I have Councilwoman Kinsella move and Councilwoman Montesano Cohen second to close to the public?
So moved.
Second.
Council President Kanigo.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bastide.
Yes.
Councilman Gaudier. Councilman Gaudier.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kaufman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella.
Yes.
Okay, so we have proclamations and awards. we have certificates of recognition for the Regal U10 travel team. Before I read off the names of the awardees and celebrate their great achievement, I call on Councilwoman Bastide to say a few words and to introduce our awardees, if you could.
I will leave the introduction of names to you, Tom. You have the certificates.
I do.
But I would
right
just
here.
like to say that from what I understand, it was an exciting season, capped off with an exciting game. So we want to congratulate, during this very unusual time of play, the U10 girl travel team from River Edge for their championship. And I'm going to ask our mayor to present the certificates of recognition.
Okay, so girls, I'm going to read your names, and when we're done, we'll give this to our clerk, and you can pick them up from the borough office. Unless Councilwoman Bastide, they might be dropped off, or Council President Canigo, they might be dropped off. I don't know how this is going to work.
We can work it out later.
Great. All right, great. So, certificate of award, and I'm just going to read the whole thing through once, and then I'll read the names. Okay, and just so you can see it, great. The mayor and council of the Borough of River Edge are proud to present this certificate award to, and I'll read the names in a minute, in recognition of the Regal U10 travel team for winning the 2020 Bergen County Girls Softball League National Division Championship. Council President Dario Canigo, Councilwoman Ellen Bastide, Councilman Joseph Cordier, Councilwoman Michelle Kaufman, Councilwoman Indira Kinsella, Councilwoman Lisa Montesano Cohen, Mayor Thomas Papaleo, so signed and dated September 8th, 2020. All right. So first, congratulations, Olivia Bertzudi. Congratulations, Keegan Fogarty. Congratulations, Reese Hornage. Congratulations, Julia Marcus. Congratulations, Elizabeth Mauser. Congratulations, Anna Marie Pascal. Congratulations, Hitanshi Sheth. Congratulations, Taylor Strasser. Congratulations, Kate Theodorakis. Congratulations, Sophia Tortorelli. Congratulations, Caitlin Villalba. Congratulations, Jenny Shuhu. And I hope I got close to all the names. Girls, we're very, very proud of you. We don't normally do this, but how many of you are here right now? Just the three? Or did
No,
we
we
get
have
some?
more.
Who else?
We have a good 7 or 8.
Good. Is one of you the captain? Would one of you like to say a quick word? Maybe I'm putting you on the spot and I shouldn't do that. All right. We're just very proud of you girls. Your certificates will get to you very, very soon. Keep up the good work. We look forward, hopefully, to doing this again for you next year. All the best. And at this point, girls, you're welcome to stay on. Or if you like, you can sign off and enjoy the rest of your evening. All right. Thank you.
Congratulations. Great job, girls.
Reese, did you want to say something?
We just don't have I was trying to say that we don't have a captain at the moment. But.
And who are your coaches? Who are your coaches?
Oh, Pete Theorasta. I don't know. Kevin Villalba. I don't know how to say his last name. Mark Strasser and Butch Pascal.
All right, I'm sure they did a great job for you, girls. So congratulations to the coaches.
Congratulations.
Wait, one more. And those
Okay.
Jen Theorak. Good. I don't know how to say that.
Theodorakis.
I see
Yes.
Jen, and I see Jen.
All right. Congratulations again, girls.
Congratulations.
Coaches. Thanks for your fine work. Thank you.
Great.
All right. We'll just give them a moment to sign off. Wonderful. Okay, so now we come to appointment and personnel changes. I'm going to move this as a block, so I'm going to read all of it. When I get done, could I have, let's see where I am in the list. Could I have Councilwoman Kinsella move and Councilwoman Monsanto Cohen second. Okay, so we have A through G in our appointments and personnel changes. Approve the resignation of Justin Palladino, DPW seasonal help, effective August 10th, 2020. Approve the step increase of Peter Sitzer, mechanic in the Department of Public Works, from an annual Mechanic 1 Step 3 salary of $79,861 to Mechanic 1 Step 4 of $80,927, effective September 5th, 2020. Pardon me, I just need to mute that. Okay. 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 Approve the resignation of Catherine Solomando, part-time office assistant in the Department of Public Works, effective August 26, 2020. Peter was effective September 5th, 2020. Approve the salary change of Peter Estevez, a police officer, from an annual salary of $64,443, patrol officer 15th grade, to patrol officer 15th grade, $72,850, effective September 6, 2020. Approve the salary change of Zach Ham, police officer, from an annual salary of $64,443 to patrol officer 15th grade, $72,850, effective September 6th. Approve the retirement of Patricia Henry, crossing guard, effective September 1st, 2020. Approve the retirement of James O'Donnell, crossing guard, effective September 1st, 2020. So could I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Roll call. Council President Kaniga.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bastide.
Yes.
Councilman Gaudier.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kaufman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
Councilwoman
Yes.
Very good. All right, we have some reports on file for anyone who'd like to get that from our clerk. We have the land use July and August 2020 reports. We also have the tax collector, August 2020. We have several ordinance on for first reading, okay? So we're going to start with the first reading of ordinances. Now, Council President Kaniga, I believe that there might be some changes to the introduction of the procedures for a rank, promotion procedure for rank of lieutenant. Is that or is not correct at this point?
That is correct.
Very good. So I'm going to read the ordinance, and then I'm going to ask you to speak to the amendments and to move it. And I'm going to ask Councilwoman Kaufman to second. So this is ordinance 20-13, ordinance amending chapter 71, article 3 of the Code of the Borough of River Edge, entitled Police Department, establishing promotion procedure for the rank of lieutenant.
Yes, just 1 second, I'm sorry.
No problem, take
I have
your
all these
time.
papers in front of me and now I can't find,
So for the public's benefit, Council President Kanigo is going to make that motion, but he's going to slightly amend it. And our borough attorney has assured us that this is a minor change and therefore does not require us to put it off to the next meeting.
in the portion entitled promotional testing procedure, we're going to remove the psychological examination requirement in its entirety. The second change has to do with what will be considered by future councils, specifically in under the portion entitled Record Review and Interview by the Mayor and Council. There are some points allotted, and then there's the discretion for the council to remove some points. Currently, there is listed the ability to remove based on minor sustained discipline to -1 point, but we're going to reduce that sentence, remove that sentence, so that it will only have the major sustained discipline -2 points sentence. Those are the minor changes that we'll be making, and I believe there's also a typo that Mr. Sarlo will speak to. Actually, the typo is in the chief's ordinance. I'm not sure if it's in the other ordinances. Mr. Sarlo?
Mr. Sarlo, you're muted currently.
Thank you. So just going through the ordinance, and yes, my opinion is that these are minor changes. We're not adding, we're removing. So we're able to proceed and we can move forward with the second reading with the changes as indicated. And just so everyone's following along, when we get to C, promotional testing, anything that is discussed, a psychological exam will be removed. Also C3, satisfactory psychological exam stating that the candidate is able to perform the essential functions, that will be removed in its entirety. And then 4 now will become 3. Right now, as it stands, 4B, there is a typo. We did change it to the 10-point scale, so it will reflect it and make it consistent. And then, as the council president indicated, under disciplinary actions, each major sustained discipline more than 5 days, -2 points will remain. The second sentence, each minor sustained discipline, 3-day suspension or less, including written reprimands, 1 point, -1 point, will be deleted in its entirety. Everything else then will remain as is, and we will proceed. We will make those changes, submit them to everybody, but as I indicated, I feel they're minor changes. We're not adding anything, we're removing, and the psychological exam was not mandatory to begin with. So we certainly can move forward with those changes. I'm going to assume the sergeant ordinance is the same exact changes, correct, Council President?
Correct. Correct.
Okay. So following along, when we get to the sergeant ordinance, you can introduce it with the changes that we just discussed.
So moved with those changes.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. There is no public comment because this is a first reading. So we go straight to a roll call. Council President Kanigo.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bastide.
Yes.
Councilman Gaudier.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kaufman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella.
Yes.
It has been moved and approved as a first reading. We now move to ordinance 20-14, ordinance amending chapter 71, article 3 of the code of the Borough of Ridge entitled Police Department, establishing promotion procedure for the rank of sergeant. As our borough attorney has already said, this is being amended in the similar fashion as the previous one. So it's I will need a motion from Councilman Gaudier as amended, and a second from Councilwoman Bastide.
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded as amended. This is again a first ordinance, so it is not open to comment, public comment. So we go straight to roll call. Council President Kanigo.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bastide.
Yes.
Councilman Gaudier.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kaufman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella.
Yes.
It has been approved. We now move to ordinance 20-15, an ordinance to adopt ordinance to adopt a redevelopment plan for the Newbridge Landing Station redevelopment area. Now, Mr. Behrings, will you be commenting on this?
Well, I'm here to comment if needed. I'm prepared to, but if the council would prefer to wait till the public hearing, that is an option as well. Or if the council has any comments at this time, I can certainly address them.
So Robert's Rules requires us to move and second it before we can enter debate or discussion. So I'm going to ask Councilwoman Bastide to move and Councilman Gaudier to second the ordinance 20-15.
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. It is now on the floor. Does any member of council wish, well, how about this? Mr. Varian, could you, for the public, just explain the purpose of this ordinance? And then we'll see if the council wishes to make any comment or offer, ask any questions.
Will do. Thank you, Mayor. My name is Tom Behrens. I'm a professional planner with Burgess Associates. We are the borough's planning consultant and have been involved in helping the borough address its third round affordable housing obligations. We are now in the compliance phase in addressing the borough's third round obligations. Our plan was approved by the court in September of last year, and now there are just a few more items that we have to complete until the borough can get its judgment of compliance and repose and its immunity from builder's remedy lawsuits until July 2025. The borough's next compliance hearing with the court is October 21st. So we have a little time to review and adopt these redevelopment plans, but not a whole lot of time. So with that, there are two redevelopment plans being discussed or introduced this evening. One is for the Newbridge Landing Station, and one is for a site known as the Kinderkamak Road redevelopment area. And we also have an amendment to the Affordable Housing Ordinance. So as was previously introduced, we have the Newbridge Landing Station redevelopment plan, and that encompasses block 1411 lots 1.01 and 1.02 and block 1412 lots 1, 2, and 3. This is an approximately 3.5 acre area that really straddles the Newbridge Landing Station in the southerly portion of town. And it exists as a surface commuter parking owned in part by NJ Transit and the Borough of River Edge, and is almost bisected in half by the rail corridor. The borough designated this site an area in need of redevelopment in 2005 in accordance with the local housing and redevelopment law. And a previous plan had been adopted for the site in 2007 for a mixed-use development, which at the time contemplated between 8 and 12 stories and a residential density of about 34 units per acre, or a total of 130 units among other permitted uses. This plan was rescinded by the council in June 2018 in recognition of the site not having developed in over 10 years. And really looking for an opportunity to come up with a plan that might be more appropriate for the area, given the existing conditions of the community. So this new plan dated September 4th, 2020 was prepared in accordance with the local housing and redevelopment law. It begins with a description of the site, the LRHL, or local housing and redevelopment law requirements for a redevelopment plan, the process, as well as consistency with other plans. The plan itself is intended to be a conceptual framework and flexible in that presumably this process entails that the borough will find a redeveloper at some point, whether through an RFP process or through some other solicitation, and that developer will refine the plan, but this gives the framework in terms of the general bulk, the number of stories, the setbacks, permitted uses, et cetera. So it's to be reviewed in that context. So here we have a plan similar to the first plan, but on a smaller scale for a mixed-use transit-oriented development, where the borough's settlement agreement with Fair Share Housing Center requires a residential density of 25 units per acre. It also allows for non-residential uses, including office, commercial, and hotel use, as well as requires a 20% affordable housing set aside. In addition, there is a provision to provide for another form of either a train station or platform, as well as a public parking facility to replace the existing commuter parking, and that will have to be negotiated with NJ Transit moving forward. They are a public player and have to be a partner in this process, and that is recognized in the plan. And the parking structure that's envisioned or that's shown on the plan is a 5-level deck on the easterly portion of the site and can accommodate up to 459 spaces. And again, that's intended to be conceptual, but it makes sense in a lot of ways, but provides a framework moving forward. And wrapped around the parking deck is a building which is shown as a multifamily building, a 4-story multifamily building. And the westerly portion of the site, we have a mixed-use building, which is intended to have some level of retail or commercial space on the ground floor and a mix of either office or purely residential uses on the second, third, and fourth floors. And you could also see on the concept on page 14, perhaps I should share my screen just for a second. If I can do that. Let's see. Bear with me while I attempt this.
You should be able to.
Yep. All right. Everyone can see the plan at this point?
Yes, we
So,
can see
so I'm sorry, I probably should have put this up to begin with. So anyway, as you can see, the rail corridor bisects the site in half. On the easterly portion of the right side, we have the contemplated parking deck, which is a necessary component and sort of a means of achieving efficiency on the site. Again, being that it's currently developed as a surface parking facility. It's wrapped on the one side, the northeast portion of the site on Grand Avenue and Hackensack Ave, in a means of sort of disguising the parking structure, but also providing for some additional residential units. And again, on the westerly portion of the site, we have the mixed-use building, a refined streetscape. We're proposing introducing on-street parking. That would have to be negotiated, of course, with Bergen County along Kinderkamak Road, as well as a drop-off area with ingress from Kinderkamak Road that, if you follow my mouse, sort of travels from south to north for a drop-off, and either having some sort of train station or platform in a more refined plan, by the prospective redeveloper, and also in conjunction with NJ Transit. So that is, again, the general conceptual framework in terms of the basic site layout, the permitted uses. There are a number of ancillary or accessory uses and features. And much as the first plan contemplated, I think for a long time, even dating back to the borough's 1970s master plans, this site has sort of been envisioned as being sort of a central hub of this Newbridge Landing area, and perhaps providing a catalyst for redevelopment for surrounding parcels. So the plan's, again, intended to be flexible. It's in accordance with the local housing and redevelopment law, as well as the borough's settlement agreement, Fair Share Housing Center. So at this point, I would be glad to answer any questions by the council or the public, if there are.
Mr. Starlow, before we do that, a couple of things that I just want to clarify for the edification of the public.
Okay.
This court case is
Yeah.
not a product of anything that River Edge has done wrong, but is instead a product of a New Jersey State Supreme Court, and is an obligation of all boroughs and municipalities in the state of New Jersey. Isn't that correct?
That is correct, Mayor, yes.
So to reassure the public, this is a process that began with the Supreme Court of the State of New Jersey hearing Fair Share Housing case, and then placed an obligation for all the municipalities in the entire state. Second, these concept plans are not necessarily plans that are occurring, but could occur, and we have an obligation to present them. Is that correct?
Correct. We have to essentially create an opportunity to provide for the borough's fair share of affordable housing, of which this is one component. So yes.
But as of this time, and pretty much for the last 10 years, there has not been serious interest. There may be in the future. This is simply our fulfilling the obligation of providing an opportunity, correct?
Correct. By creating the ordinance.
Great. So that the public understands that because someone is who may not be familiar with this, and I certainly wasn't before I became an elected official, they might think, oh, we're bringing in all these new housing units or this or that, and they might ask the question, when is the construction going to begin? Well, there's actually not a developer at this point, and there is actually no plan to move forward. This is us simply fulfilling the Supreme Court of the State of New Jersey's obligation, as every municipality is doing.
Correct.
Good.
Correct.
Now, the last part is you mentioned the protection against the contractors,
Builder's
what's-
remedy.
builder's remedy.
Yeah.
Just for the edification of the public, would you explain the protection that we're getting and why that is an important thing for the council to do?
Correct. So as the mayor stated, the borough has been addressing its third round affordable housing obligations. And And what that does is provide the borough with protection of what's called builder's remedy lawsuits or exclusionary zoning lawsuits, which would mean that essentially the borough would lose its zoning control, and that a prospective developer could find some site, some acreage in town, and would propose a development in the name of affordable housing, and the borough would be in a position where it would then have to negotiate with that developer and see some level of development on that site. And by the borough affirmatively addressing its obligation and finding suitable locations for, the potential creation of affordable housing, it's able to control its development and zoning destiny. So it's important that the borough has done this. We work for a number of municipalities in addressing their affordable housing obligations. I could say some level of assurance that most of the Bergen County towns and many, I forget if it's 200 or 300 towns in New Jersey have decided to address their affordable housing obligations for those very reasons.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. You've done an excellent job of presenting. Would any member of council wish to make a comment or ask a question? So hearing none, I just want to compliment Burgess Associates as well as you, Tom Baring, for your outstanding service to the people of River Edge. It has been moved and seconded. There is no debate, so we will move to the roll call. Council President Canigo.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bastide.
Yes.
Councilman Gaudier.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kaufman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella.
Yes.
Okay, so now we're going to, could I have Councilwoman Montesano Cohen and Councilwoman Kaufman second the following ordinance, which is ordinance 20-16, an ordinance to adopt a redevelopment plan for the Kinderkamack Road redevelopment area.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Baring, do you wish to offer any further testimony in regards to this section of the redevelopment plan?
Yes, I'll be brief. So much for the same
No,
reason.
you
Oh.
take whatever time you need. We're good.
Okay, so for many of the same reasons that the borough has prepared a new plan for the new Bridge Landing Station site, it has also prepared a new redevelopment plan for what's known as the Kinderkamack Road redevelopment area. The borough has received a Kinderkamack Road redevelopment plan dated September 4th, 2020. And that area encompasses block 1413, lots 1, 2.01, 4, and 5. I should note that the borough tax records indicate that lots 2.01 and 4 have merged. The site's a little, slightly less than 1 acre in size and is privately owned in its current form. This redevelopment area was designated as such in 2006, again, in accordance with the state redevelopment statute. A previous redevelopment plan had been prepared and adopted in 2008. That plan contemplated a multifamily development of a total of 75 residential units, which translated to about 78 dwelling units per acre, in and about an 8-story building. This plan was rescinded by the council in June of 2018, again, to give the borough an opportunity to reevaluate the redevelopment opportunity for the site, as well as address its affordable housing obligations, and also in recognizing that no development had occurred or been proposed in the last 10 years. So with that, we have the new plan. I will attempt to share my screen again. Okay, that was much smoother this time. So this plan, again, like the New Bridge Landing Station plan, touches on all the statutory requirements of what a redevelopment plan must entail, about the process and about the consistency with other plans. The development contemplated here, as you can see on the sketch that I'm now sharing, shows a mixed-use development with generally in a 4-story building at the required 20 units per acre in accordance with the borough's settlement agreement, the Fair Share Housing Center. It does have a commercial or non-residential component on the northeast corner of the site at the ground level of the building, fronting the intersection of Ackerson Street and Kinderkamak Road. It provides surface level parking essentially on the ground level or first floor of the building with a residential component above, generally fronting Ackerson Street, and also provides a sort of a common area or communal open space above the parking level, which is intended to serve as a buffer between the residential component of the building and the elevated portion of roof 4, which extends about 2 or 3 stories above grade. So we thought it would be important, again, to provide that level of protection for prospective residents of the building. I don't want to say this redevelopment site is more simple than the Newbridge Landing site, but to a degree it is, in that it doesn't entail a public train station or parking facility. Again, it is privately owned, so it is something that the borough can at some point solicit for developers, or that the property owner could potentially propose something at some point, although that hasn't happened in 10 years. And again, includes all of the sort of ancillary components in terms of accessory uses, provides for streetscape development, and a number of design parameters. So, and again, like the Newbridge Landing Station plan, this is intended to address a portion of the borough's third round affordable housing obligation. So at this point, again, I'd be glad to entertain any questions.
Any member of council have a question or a comment? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Council President Kanigo.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bastide.
Yes.
Councilman Gaudier.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kaufman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella.
Yes.
Okay, so now I'm going to read, and I'm going to ask Councilwoman Kinsella to move and Council President Kanigo to second. Ordinance 20-17, ordinance amending Chapter 50, entitled Affordable Housing Regulations, to address the requirements of the Fair Housing Act and the Uniform Housing Affordability Controls, UHAC, regarding compliance with the borough's affordable housing obligations.
So moved.
Second.
sorry.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We're now open to debate, comment, and discussion. Mr. Barron, if you could speak to this.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. So this ordinance is another compliance requirement of the borough's third round affordable housing obligations and process. The borough had adopted previously a former draft earlier this year. The ordinance is now being amended in accordance with the borough's court-appointed special master, who is essentially the mediator in the current affordable housing process. And what's now being included in this amendment is what's called the mandatory affordable housing set-aside requirements or language. And this language is generally boilerplate and is required of all municipalities participating in this process. And it states generally that any site that isn't explicitly called for in the borough's affordable housing plan to address affordable housing, that if it were to be developed with 5 residential units or more, it must provide an affordable housing set aside at a rate of 15% for rental units and 20% for sale units. There is some other, more descriptive language, but that is generally the gist of the amendment.
Thank you. Does any member of council wish to ask a question or make a comment? Hearing none, wait. No. Hearing none, we will move to the roll call. Council President Kanigo.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bastide.
Yes.
Councilman Gaudier.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kaufman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella.
Yes.
Mr. Baring, you have done a wonderful job with this. You've worked very hard, and so has Burgess Associates. We thank you. We thank your firm. You've always done a professional job for us, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Likewise. Appreciate all of your
Thank you.
time and efforts.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, we now move to a second reading and hearing. Second readings require opening to the public. So we move to ordinance 20-12. Could I have, everyone's had their fair share. So Council President Kanigo, will you please move this with amendments? I'll give you a chance to do that. And then if we could have a second from Councilwoman Montesano Cohen. So this is ordinance 20-12, an ordinance supplementing Chapter 71 of the Code of the Borough of River Edge entitled Police Department to establish a new article promotion procedure for the rank of Chief of Police. And Council President, I think you're moving that with amendments, correct?
Yes, sir. As we did with the lieutenant's ordinance and with the sergeant's ordinance, I am moving this one with the amendments that we remove the requirement of a psychological exam. Additionally, we remove the requirement of -1 point for the minor sustained discipline, so that will no longer be part of the ordinance. And also, I believe there's the correction, the typo that Mr. Sarlo will deal with. So moved.
Second.
Mr. Sarlo, would you wish just to briefly comment?
Yeah, Mayor, this is a second reading. It will be adopted tonight. Again, the changes that are being recommended, we knew there were going to be some changes, and as long as they were not substantive, the changes that are being recommended are certainly not substantive, so they can move forward. We can adopt the ordinance on second reading tonight with the changes as the council president indicated, which will be removing the psychological evaluation in its entirety wherever it is referenced in the proposed ordinance. Again, that was not a mandatory. We're not adding anything. It was not a mandatory. It was at the discretion of the mayor and council. So that will be again removed in its entirety. And there was that one typo, which again, it's simply a typographical error with the record review only amounts to 10 points. And the disciplinary actions, we are just taking out the major sustained discipline -2 points. Again, none of that changes the scoring calculation, so they're minor changes and we can move forward tonight with them.
So just a correction, I believe what you meant to say that we were removing the minor disciplinary, not the major.
We were taking out the major discipline.
No,
Is
the
that
minor.
correct?
The minor.
No, we're
We're taking out the minor?
yeah, I believe we're taking out the
Oh,
minor.
that's right. Yes, yes. As indicated in the last one.
Correct.
Yes, yes, yes. The
Very
minor
good.
sustained discipline, 5-day suspension or less, including reprimands -1 point, is removed. Each major sustained discipline more than 5 days, -2 points will remain. Yes,
Correct.
I stand corrected. Thank you for that correction, Mayor.
No problem, no problem. Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. When the council votes on it, what the council is voting on is to open to the public. Then it will be moved and seconded for approval if the council chooses to take that final step. But the public does have an opportunity to speak to it, and then the council has an opportunity to make decisions about whether to approve it. This is standard for all ordinances in the state of New Jersey. So could I need to go to roll call. Council President Kanigo,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bastide,
Yes.
Councilman Gaudier,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kaufman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella. We're
Yes.
now open to the public, so I'm sorry. I'm going to surrender this to Councilwoman Kaufman, and we'll give the public an opportunity, if there's anyone, to ask a question or speak to the issue.
So if anyone would like to speak, either write a question in the chat box or raise your hand and I will promote you to a speaker and you can go ahead.
Okay, it appears that, am I correct, Councilwoman
Yeah.
Kaufman?
No takers.
Okay, that's fine, that's fine. So could I have Councilman Gaudier move for final adoption and Councilwoman Bastide second?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Council President Kanigo,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bastide,
Yes.
Councilman Gaudier. Joy, we couldn't hear you.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilwoman Kaufman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella.
Yes.
Okay, so we have now approved our ordinance for the promotional procedure for the rank of chief of police. We're now up to topic number 12 on our agenda, resolutions by consent. What I'd like to do is, well, first of all, is there any element that we want to hold out? I'm going to do them 3 blocks. I'm going to do 20-203 to 20-210. I'll do 20-11 and 20-12 separately because they're amended. And then 20-213, our finance chair will do, we'll move that. So is there anything, any part that any member would like to discuss? All right then. Could I have Councilwoman Kinsella move and Councilwoman Kaufman second the following 20-203 through 20-210 resolutions?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we are open for debate. Is there any debate? Okay, so roll call. Council President Kanigo,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bastide,
Yes.
Councilman Gaudier,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kaufman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella.
Yes.
Okay, now 20-211 and 20-212. I have a note from our borough deputy clerk that the numbers were missing, and so they've been added in. So let me read in the ordinance. Capital ordinance will be $23,180. Current account will be $7,000. This is of 20-11. This is resolution 20-11. I'm doing that one first. Current account will be $7,401. Trust account will be $4,570. And the 18-76 MOE, which is the open space account, $765. The numbers that are added to 20-12. Capital ordinance is $26,820. Current account is $5,530. Trust account is $5,215. And the 20-19 MOE, which is the open space account, is $745. So could I have Councilman Gaudier and move, and Councilwoman Montesano second, resolutions 20-211 and 20-212.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Council President Kanigo,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bastide,
Yes.
Councilman Gaudier,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kaufman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella.
Yes.
Could I have our finance chair, Councilwoman Kaufman, please move 20-213?
Yes, resolution 20-213, payment of bills at a regular meeting of the mayor and council of the Borough of River Edge, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, held on September 8, 2020. Be it resolved that the mayor and council of the Borough of River Edge approve the following expenditures: current fund account, $2,247,147.56. Capital fund account, $25,481.58. Grant fund account, $72,940.77. Animal control account, $6.60. Trust other account, $3,975.10. Open space account, $84.78. Payroll account, $18,627.20. Developers escrow account, $4,867.50. Recreation account, $4,269.63. So moved.
It has been moved, and it's second. Council President Kanigo,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bastide,
Yes.
Councilman Gaudier,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kaufman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella.
Yes.
Okay, we're up to new business, item number 14 on our agenda. Repair of storm damaged sidewalks. So normally I would have our BA introduce this topic, but I'll try to do an adequate job, and certainly I could use the support of the council. The question comes before the council: shall we repair the sidewalk slabs that were specifically damaged by the most recent weather emergency, like we did with Hurricane Sandy? So we would be only repairing, and it's the homeowner's obligation by ordinance, which is a common ordinance, if not 90, the majority of the state. Should we consider taking this out of public funds to repair those sidewalk slabs that were damaged by borough trees that came down during the storm? So I'll open it to the council to consider this idea.
Do we have an estimate on how many slabs and what the cost would be?
Does anyone in council have, I believe it's somewhere around $10,000, but again, this would be normally something our BA would speak to.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I
Sure.
kind of think that we need the BA to give us some answers here, because I know that he gave us a very rough idea of what was going to be, what the cost was going to be and how many repairs, but I didn't quite understand whether the cost was per slab or how many. I mean, it seemed that for the number that he gave us, it seemed very slight, the $10,000 figure, and of course, per slab, it would seem excessive. So I'm not sure what it is. So I think we need him here to give us some guidance on that. Unfortunately, he had a personal family emergency tonight and he was unable to be here, so it's certainly not his fault that he's not here. But I think we just need a little more guidance, but I certainly welcome the rest of the council input in that.
Okay. I agree with that, but Councilwoman Bastide, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I agree, and I'd also like to understand the validation of those slabs as well. Like, how would we get validation that the damage was due to the storm? So I'd ask our BA to come up with a matrix to figure out how we would validate that.
Okay. Any other member of council?
I believe it was the slabs that were upended when trees that were on borough property tipped over during the storm.
And if I'm not mistaken, that was pretty much recorded or by our DPW. Would you
Yeah.
agree with that?
I believe Jason went around and documented which ones were damaged by fallen trees, and all of the fallen trees have since been taken away.
Okay. So we can presume, and it's always dangerous to presume, but we can presume that the slabs that we're talking about have been properly validated. The question now is the cost. So we'll have to wait till our next council meeting. And that will be in 2 weeks on a Monday. So a little less than 2 weeks. If the council is in agreement, we'll move to item B under 14. Without objection, we'll move forward. The next item, again, our borough attorney, borough administrator rather, would speak to this, our interlocal agreements. So the council has seen the copies of them. We have also shared those copies with the BOE. We need to have a serious discussion about this, but we also have a bit of a time limit. So I don't know what the council's preference is on this.
Can you just clarify the time limit?
I cannot. I do know that we need to, it's the question of getting the county to allow us to transfer the money from one open space account to another. And Mr. Solo, I believe you created those interlocals. Could you just speak to them briefly? And I believe what occurred is we just combined the interlocals we already have agreed on. So I don't believe there's really any or very little new language in them. And then there was an interlocal in regards to the Roosevelt Field, which is the one that will give us the ability to transfer the funds with the county.
Yeah, there are two agreements that were drafted. The interlocal for Roosevelt Field, the athletic field improvements that's required by the county to get the grant and to transfer the funds. That is pretty much standard language in there. We made two changes to the initial one, and that was taking out the usage of the field. I just felt it was being covered in the other shared service, and it was not necessary. And we took out in perpetuity, which means forever, that they can never sell it, the board, or transfer it for a period of 10 years. That is subject to county approval also. So as soon as the county and the board signs off on that, you should be good to go. The other shared service agreement, we took the combined agreements, the gym use, the field use, and the snow removal, and we added it all into one. So whatever was existing in those agreements remain in this one overall agreement. The only things that we changed was the amount for snow removal. That was increased per the recommendation of the DPW superintendent. So I just want you to know that I made that change based on his recommendation. And the other recommendation, I believe, was charging of the custodians from the board to the borough for the gym use. We added some language in there regarding when they should or how it should be paid. So those were the two agreements we added in there. Everything else stays the same. The insurance changed a little bit per the recommendations of Ezio. So I took his recommendations and added them in there. Everything else remains the same. So there really should be not much issue on the Board of Education side of it, unless there's an issue regarding the bump up in pay, which would be something you guys will have to discuss.
And the first,
So-
the first agreement, just to clarify, is so that will allow us to build fields for our girls for Regal so that they can play softball in better conditions. Not to say that they're terrible conditions now, but certainly the fields are lacking in many ways. So we'll be able to give them more of a complex to play at than they certainly have now.
And just so you guys are aware, to me, that's a priority agreement to get done. The other agreements, they're already in place. We're just kind of putting it all together. So there's one document, but I don't want to hold up that interlocal for the field improvements because we have to go through the county. We have to get that adopted and you have to go through it. And I don't want that holding up that project. So although we want to move all of these agreements at the same time, I'd like to give that one priority so you guys can start working on phase 2, getting the funding in place, getting county approval, applying for your grants, so forth like that. Coming into the winter months, you want to get that all done, get it out to bid, and have those things ready to go for next season.
So in regards to that, Mr. Sarlo, one of the things that we have negotiated with the BOE is that we would move both ordinance on the same day, that one would not move without the other. That was one of their conditions. So to the council, we do need to move the Roosevelt, so we do need to move the other one. Mr. Sarlo, what would be the procedure? Would it just be a vote now by the council, or does it have to go to a resolution at our next meeting?
I think you should get the board, I think we should have, you've already submitted these to the Board of Education?
We have.
So I think you have to wait for their comments. You have to get the final agreement in place, whatever changes they have, if you guys agree with those changes. And then, yes, by resolution, you could adopt these. But by adopting these are no good because we don't know if it's okay with that. So we need their feedback right away.
Okay, so I will speak to Superintendent Bentove, and if the council is in agreement, is there a consensus amongst the council that we should move forward as is? Or is there objection of the council with regard to the documents that have already been sent to you?
I believe we should move forward, Mayor.
I agree.
No objection.
No objections.
I agree, and I thank the Board of Education for their consideration and their work on this as well.
Yes.
Beautiful. Very good. All right, so I will speak to the superintendent about that. And now the last part is C, waive police outside duty rate for a resident. This had to do with an email that I believe we all got, and I asked our BA to put it on. This is something we have to be very careful about considering to make these exceptions. But this would be why we would even, in general, we would not consider this, but this is why we might want to consider this. If a resident is having work done on their property who does not live on Kinderkamack Road, or with very few exceptions, maybe Midland, it does not require police presence to for the construction. They just do it. And so it could be argued, it could be perceived that that along Kinderkamack Road, there is an extra burden placed upon the resident, and that we might consider not waiving the whole thing, but waiving some portion of it, like the administrative costs. So I give this to the council to consider, to debate. If the council wants to put this off until Mr. Porio returns, we certainly can do that. And so I turn this over to the council.
I would suggest, Mr. Mayor, that we wait until Mr. Poirier returns so that he can give us all the figures, so that we know exactly what it is that we're considering waiving. I'm generally in agreement that given the circumstances, we should be considering this application. And in the future, if other Kinderkamack residents have similar applications, we should consider them. But before we can really have a debate on it or consider it, we should have our administrator here.
Agree.
Is the council in agreement, or is there other comments?
I agree.
Fine.
I agree.
I agree with Council President.
I agree as well.
All right. So that concludes, no, we have one other thing. We
And
have
actually, I have one after as well, Mr.
Yeah.
Mayor.
So I'm going to recognize Councilwoman Bastide.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to raise under new business for the council's consideration and possible assignment to the borough attorney that we review the emergency outdoor dining ordinance that was put in place to accommodate our restaurants during the COVID emergency, to consider an extension past the conclusion of summer so that they may continue operating their outdoor dining for longer. So if there's no objection from the council, could we ask our borough attorney to review that and make a recommendation?
No objection.
No objection.
Objection.
No objections from me.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Sarlo, are you comfortable with that? Do you wish to make a comment, or?
No, I will certainly start looking into it. I don't see there's an issue at all, as long as the executive order is still in place limiting indoor dining. I think that will give you the ability, as soon as the executive order is lifted, that allows 100% capacity indoors, then I think it would not give you, as the mayor and council, the ability to extend it, because you do have an ordinance in place regarding outdoor dining. As of right now, you're allowing, or you're helping out, assisting these businesses because they're limited. Well, up until last Friday, they had no indoor capacity, and they're still severely limited. As we are getting into winter months, though, and I think your outdoor dining it's right now through what, October?
I believe so.
Yeah. We are getting into winter months. There's one thing you should consider. If they are going to be putting heaters in, that may be something you want to have the fire department or fire safety give approval on. You don't want heaters being set up, obviously, in an indoor tent in a position or a situation that's going to cause a hazard. So that's
Mr.
something we're going
Sarlo-
to need to address.
So would that be an amendment of the resolution?
We could rescind the other resolution's gonna expire, so we can just do a new resolution. We could rescind it. We could just put an extension onto that resolution, extending the time periods with maybe some additional conditions regarding heaters.
Could you,
I'll draft something up.
thank you. Council
Thank you.
President,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick one. Tonight, we honored the Regal girls for their championship win. I've also heard through social media that our boys, our Little League boys, one of the teams also won a championship. So I would like to extend an invitation to the Little Leaguers to come in perhaps next time around. And if Councilwoman Bastide can ask our Recreation Department and Director to impart the invitation, it would be great to honor them as well.
I'd be happy to.
great, great. So our Deputy Clerk will work with our Rec Director. Okay, there is one other thing, as our Borough Attorney pointed out, we have an ordinance, and once the governor rescinds his executive order requiring limited indoor dining, our outdoor emergency resolution will come to an end. Between now and then, what I'm recommending to the council at the recommendation of Councilwoman Bastide is that we revisit our ordinance about outdoor dining. This has been a huge success, and we may want to, when we first drafted it, not many of you were on the council, I was on the council. Ellen, you were on the council at that time too, weren't you? Dario, were you?
Yes.
I
Maybe
don't
not.
think so. I don't think so.
So it was a number of years ago, and we wanted to err on the side of caution. So we have a lot of restrictions in our outdoor dining ordinance. So if the council is of the opinion, I'd like for our Borough Attorney to revisit our outdoor dining ordinance and recommend to us a more generous series of rules, that might include some of the spaces that are currently under tents. I don't know, but what is the council's opinion?
I think that's a great idea because every restaurant has obviously taken a significant hit to their financial condition this year, and it would help them recoup some of that.
As long as the police is on board and they get to explore and comment on it, as well as our fire department, I think it's a fantastic idea.
So Mayor, I'll say it is very restrictive, and at the time the mayor and council wanted it restrictive, and not and just to see how it pretty much worked. I will provide you with the existing outdoor dining ordinance. Take a look at it. Feel free to give me comments, but just keep in mind right now a lot of the outdoor dining is being held in parking lots. The existing outdoor dining ordinance cannot be held in parking lots. It's off of the main building or whatever. Having outdoor dining in parking lots may be an issue because if you now go to 100% capacity, if you're limiting or you're increasing your seating availability, that then may trigger an ordinance, a variance for parking spaces.
Yes, of course, you're right.
So I don't know if we can allow outdoor dining in the parking area. And again, there's safety requirements that are in putting ballards in and so forth like that. So that's the only thing we'd have to really look into is if you allow them to expand outdoor dining into there. And I agree, it's been a huge success. I personally enjoy it too. I'd love to continue going and not go indoors anymore. But that's my concern is now we have to be careful that we're not infringing or taking away, because you're increasing capacity, you're diminishing your parking, and that may now trigger a variance for parking.
Probably, I see your point very well. I'm wondering this: would we have the authority, in concert with the Land Use Board, to allow every summer, June, July, August, or July, August, or would it trigger the same sort of variances? In other words, if we did it on a yearly limited basis, would it be something legally that we could do something like what shore communities do. In the summer, they kind of modify their many of their rules regarding parking and this and that. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out.
It's an excellent question. I don't have an answer for you offhand. I would, off the cuff, without doing any research, if it's for a limited time period, a month or 2 months in the busy summer hours, yeah, that may be, because it's a temporary structure. It's not permanent. It may be something that's doable.
That'd be great. The council is good with the suggestions or offering, or would you like to offer another comment or ask a question?
Good.
No.
Sounds good.
Well, this has been a very productive day, evening rather. So we have to open to public comments. Could I have Councilwoman? I'm sorry.
Mayor, I have one other thing I would like
Oh,
to discuss. New
My
business.
apologies. Go ahead. Yes.
We've been getting several calls about the senior bus and what's going to happen with the
Oh,
senior.
yes.
So I'd like to bring that up and see where the council is on this. I'm of the personal opinion that right now it probably is not safe to open it up as business as usual right now.
Mhm.
You know, if we can provide any help for some of the individuals, you know, we all
Yeah.
want. So, any other comments? Or?
Mayor, I can add something to that. Joe, I spoke with Ron Strass from OEM because we are equally concerned about that. Given the recent person that was the person driving the bus, we discovered that person was on her own contacting the members of the community that were using the bus just to check in on them. So that's something that I wanted to talk to Jason about because that's a gap there that we need to address. But to your point, Ron was going to engage or has engaged already with the county to see what is there and available in lieu of the local bus not being operating. Because the questions continue to come in about, you know, appointments and shopping. It's not at the volume of months ago, prior March, but he's looking into with the county to see what is available that we can bring to River Edge if possible. Hopefully that's of help to you, but that brings back to that also that those individuals that were being contacted by that lady that is no longer driving the bus, or even if it was operating, just to check in on those seniors. So that's something that I was going to reach out to you offline to make sure that we can address that gap.
Any other member of council comment or question?
I just agree with Mr. Gautier. I just don't think that right now is the right time to start the bus up, given the pandemic and what we have faced. But certainly we should be mindful of it and start it up as soon as it is safely possible. Of course, what Councilwoman Montesano Cohen said is also correct. We need to figure out if there's members of our community that really need to be reached out to and be looked after. Perhaps we should create a committee with our SCORE liaison, and SCORE can be also involved in that aspect of that.
I agree.
Okay, so got an ad hoc committee. Who we would have 3 members. Which 3 members of council wish to volunteer for that?
I can volunteer for that because I'm already involved somehow on
Good.
it.
I would volunteer with that with Lisa as well.
Good, and I would recommend Councilman Gaudier be the 3rd one because he's liaison to DPW.
Yes, Mayor.
Very good. If you guys, gals, if you individuals can address that, and if you could report back to the council at our next meeting with whatever progress has occurred or not. We appreciate that. All right, any other new pieces of new business? Very well then. We need to open to the public for any comments whatsoever. Could I have Councilwoman Kinsella move and Councilwoman Bastide second?
So moved.
Second.
Council President Kanigo.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bastide.
Yes.
Councilman Gaudier.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kaufman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella.
Yes.
We're now open to the public, and I surrender the meeting to our moderator, Councilwoman Kaufman.
Again, if you have any questions, you can type them in the chat box or raise your hand and I can allow you to speak.
Okay, I assume that we're good.
Yes.
Could I have Councilwoman Kaufman move and Council President Kanigo second to close to the public?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Council President Kanigo.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bastide.
Yes.
Councilman Gaudier.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kaufman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella.
Yes.
Okay, we're up to council comments. Normally I put our council president on the spot. So we'll give him a break today and we'll begin with Councilwoman Kinsella.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to say congratulations to the Regal U10 travel team. They did a fantastic job in winning, and go little girls. Also, I'd like to encourage any residents who has not responded to the census to please do. Their visits are ending September 30th, and that's pretty much the count currently. So we want to get as many people counted as possible. And just thank you to all the healthcare providers and workers for all that they do. And that's it.
Thank you. Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I'd like to congratulate the girls that won the tournament, and they did a fantastic job. And I want to thank and acknowledge the efforts of the River Edge School District on a very well-organized first school day, and want to wish the teachers, the students, and the administrators a healthy and a very enriching school year ahead.
Excellent. Councilwoman Kaufman.
I also would like to congratulate the Regal girls and the Boys Little League team as well. Looking forward to seeing them. And I would just want to mention that River Edge TV is up and running now on Channel 33. You can go see the council meetings there, as well as on YouTube, where we also have the land use meetings running. And just also wanted to mention that Friday, 9/11, we will be having a memorial at 6 o'clock at Borough Hall with the fire department and police department and Rivas, as we always do. So see you there.
Excellent. Very good. Councilman Gaudier.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to congratulate the Regal 10 girls as well as our Little League team that won their championship. And I'd like to remind everyone that grass and vegetation is going to continue to get up until October 31st. Leaf pickup is going to start soon, and that is going to happen. A nixle will be sent out, and information will be put on our website prior. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Councilwoman Bastide.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll echo everyone else's congratulations for the U10 girls from Regal. Fantastic job, and look forward to inviting the Little League champions as well for an upcoming meeting. Just an update on River Edge Day, which is traditionally the first Sunday in October. So our recreation director, at the behest of the COVID committee, has been asked to reimagine River Edge Day following our COVID guidelines. She'll be meeting with the Recreation Commission next week at their regularly scheduled meeting. If there is a path forward for an in-person River Edge Day, we will bring that forward to the COVID committee. If not, the Recreation Director, already has some ideas that she's going to present to Recreation to, at the very least, come up with a way to promote all of our local businesses and organizations that would normally be there in person, but to do so in another manner. So she's already working on that if an in-person River Edge Day is not possible. However, the Green Team would like to bring the paper shredder to River Edge on that Sunday in the cul-de-sac, whether there's River Edge Day or not. That's a very socially distant opportunity for people to get rid of their paper. So unless there's an objection, I'd like to let the Green Team go ahead and schedule that for that first Sunday, the morning, generally from 9 to 1 in the cul-de-sac, unless there's an objection.
Are they going to do styrofoam also?
That's very hard to schedule, but she does have an opportunity to do so. So hopefully she'll get one scheduled for the fall. I'll follow up with her. Let's see. I want to thank the residents for their patience with the improvements at Brookside Park and Memorial Park. It has taken a bit longer than we had anticipated, but I can report that Brookside was painted and they should be ready for play soon. Memorial Park, if it hasn't been painted, is scheduled to be done shortly, and everything should be concluded in 2 weeks. I will not be around on 9/11 for the ceremony. I'm sorry to miss it, but I want to thank Dick Berry and the fire department for taking the lead so that we have a ceremony for our borough residents to recognize all those lost, especially our residents from River Edge. And just a quick thank you to our 2 crossing guards who retired in September. Those of you that have school-age children, you know they build a relationship with the crossing guard. So we want to thank them very much for their service to our community. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Council President Kniga.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick reminder, because I had forgotten, there is no more 2 times a week garbage pickup. So it's just once a week now. I learned the hard way when I put it out, and then I had to bring it back in. Like everybody said, congrats to the Regal U10 travel team. Great job. I want to thank Councilwoman Kaufman for her great work on the getting the TV up and running. I mean, it's been a bane in everybody's existence for as long as I've been on the council, and you know, it's a terrific work. So thank you. I know you put a lot of time and effort into it. And just, you know, one last time, please continue wearing your masks out in public. Social distance. You know, we're still in the middle of the pandemic, and now we're going into cold and flu season, which, if we are all careful and we work together, we'll be able to keep the numbers low. If we don't, unfortunately, we might be back the way we were back in March, which nobody wants to see us at. Thank you.
Okay, I concur with what everyone has said about our Regal team, about 9/11, about all the items that were brought up. I'd especially like to thank Dick Berry for organizing this with Tim Carroll and the police department, the 9/11. It will be right here at Borough Hall, as Councilwoman Kaufman said, at 6 p.m. And all are welcome. Please wear your mask. I'd also like to thank our OEM coordinator, director, and deputy director coordinator, Ron Starace and Stu Heisinger, for all the work they're doing in regards to collecting reams upon reams of information data to be submitted to FEMA and the CARES Act, so that the borough can be reimbursed for, we'll do rounds of this, but so we can start putting in for reimbursement for our expenditures due to COVID-19. So also, I just like to remind the public that we have the Mayor of River Edge page that I post many of the things that you might be interested in knowing, as well as we put it on the borough webpage, and we send it out in Nixle. And occasionally, if it demands, we do a reverse 911. I'd like to thank everyone on council for working hard. Oh, I left out. I'd like to thank Nick the Sink. Nick is the genius behind all of us when it comes to the TV. Michelle and I have been,
Absolutely.
Councilwoman Kaufman and I have been working with Nick. He is from Ordell. He has a long history with television production, He's an amazing individual, and we are grateful that he volunteers his time to us and has helped us do this, as well as the DPW for all of the different change orders. Run this wire, no, run that wire, run a longer wire, rearrange the wires. So when the council resumes, we will be in full HD. Now, towards that, and why I bring this up, other than to thank Nick, is what we'll be doing is I'll always be up as soon as our this meeting gets loaded onto YouTube, which usually takes 3 to 7 days. I will then put it on the Mayor of River Edge page, as I did last time, and Nick will, at his availability, will then put it on channel 33. And once Cablevision gives us a channel, it will be on that, and it will run. Right now, we're running, I believe, noon, 7, and 9 p.m. until Friday on Verizon channel 33. And that meeting was only an hour, whereas this meeting's running an hour and a half. So if you're interested in seeing it or taping it, DVRing it, not that I think people are dying to do that, but if you are, you have that availability. Could I have a motion from any member to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you to all. Thank you, Mr. Sarlo. Thank you, Deputy Clerk O'Connell. Everyone have
Thank
a
you.
good
Good
night.
night.
Have a good night, everybody.
Night.
Good night.